So this is a watch pressure tester. So you pressure test dive watches or any watch that claims that it can go underwater or it's water resistant. Usually water resistant just means that it can take rain and that sort of thing, and don't have a screw down back or good seals or a screw down crown to allow it to be a dive watch. The Swiss standard for pressure is about 3 atmospheres for your average non-dive watch, which is 33 feet per atmosphere, so it's about 100 feet for 3 atmospheres. This is a Vostek amphibian watch that's in here, and what I want to show you is how you actually test this watch and make sure that it's all sealed up. So first thing you would do with this pressure tester is you would pump this arm. I've already pumped it up, and this watch has been in here for a while, but you pump this arm and watch the gauge here, and the gauge, I've got it up to about 4 atmospheres. That's in good. So that's about 4 atmospheres. And you leave it in hanging there for about 5 minutes. So, you know, a little while ago, exactly 5 minutes ago, I put this in and started pumping this up, and I pumped it up to 4. Now I tried to make sure that the watch the back was not on super tight, because I want you to see what happens. So once you're ready to submerge the watch in the water, at this point here, there's a 4 atmospheres pressure in there, and that air is going to get into the movement if the seal is no good. So that when the air gets into the movement, the air in the movement is the same pressure as the 4 atmosphere air outside the movement. Now I'll plunge that into the water, and then I'll quickly release the pressure down to 0. Then if the seal is no good, then air would have gotten into that movement, and when the pressure goes down to 0, the air will try to get out of the movement, and you'll see bubbles. The minute you see bubbles coming from the watch, you have to pull that watch up using this plunger, and otherwise it won't have positive pressure, and water could get in and ruin the movement. So this is a screw down crown here, and I've screwed that down quite tight, but I let the back a little bit loose just to see if the bubbles show. So I'm going to plunge this in, and then I'm going to release the pressure. So inward, and it goes for a swim. There's a lot of pressure on this thing, so it's actually a little tricky to keep this down. So you do this and then turn it slightly. I'm going to turn it this way because I'm thinking that air should come out of the back. Some air might come out of the bezel, but most of the air should come out of the back. Sometimes the ring, the actual bezel, traps some air, and you'll see that. So when I press this button, the pressure goes to 0, and the equal pressure, which will become positive pressure, should release from the bezel if that thing's not on well. So here we go. There's some bubbles. So you see those bubbles coming out, and then you take this and you pull it out immediately, because you're going to have problems with water coming into the watch. So that's the pressure test. So this watch, the back was not on good there. So if I take this out here again, well, I don't need to do it again. If you put the back on really well, you're not going to see any bubbles come out of that bezel, but I kept the back significantly loose just to show you exactly what happens. So this particular tool also has an O-ring, a big O-ring around the edge when you put that on. Then you've got this piece of metal here for hanging the watch. You'd normally just hang it on a strap and put it in there, and you put this on like that, like this. Make sure that's seated in nicely, and then you clamp this in like this, and then tighten these, and this tightens this down completely, and then you start pumping. And this is a very good watchmaker's workout, because most watchmakers sit under Batinsky and don't do a lot of activities. So you need to be pressure testing watches all the time. That way you get exercise. So there you go. What's this, my dear?
You need a right-handed and left-handed one.
Oh, there we go.
So you work out both arms.
Yeah, I need to. Well, that's what this one's for. So we got 2 of them here. So if you want to do a workout, you can actually, I'd sure break it. Not a good plan. Anyway, you can use both the handles, or you can pretend you're cross-country skiing as well. So that's another workout you can do. But you need 2 of these to do that. So hopefully you don't have to get 2. So you pump this up to 3 atmospheres, and you can see in the gauge, do exactly what I said. The watch is hanging on the top, And then once you're ready, you push the plunger down, and there's a tab on here, so the tab fits into a groove on the side here, and you turn it so it's like that, and then you're ready to do the test. You press the button on the top, and that relieves the pressure, and you can see the gauge go down to 0. So that's how you pressure test a watch. This is a very good Vostek movement, or watch rather, and I took the movement out of the watch to do the test. It's an amphibian, and these babies can go pretty deep because of this ring in the back here allows the case back to actually push more onto the case and the associated flat O-ring that's on the inside. So maybe I'll just open this up really quickly and show you what we got in here. So this is that loose yet? I think it is. All right, there's the O-ring. And then this, just see if I can get my fingernail in to lift this movement out. The case back, of course it won't come out for me now, right?
It's sealed, probably.
It's sealed. Sealed. Tight. Man.
Is it loosened all the way? With your little...
Yeah, there's nothing in there at all. So let me just, should have brought a pair of tweezers. Oh, there we go. So there's the back. There we go there. And you can see this massive O-ring, and then there's water sitting in there because this wasn't tight, and I did that on purpose. And this is the screw down crown in this movement. So there it is there. And you just screw that in and make sure that as well there's an O-ring inside the crown, and make sure that O-ring is in good condition as well. So that is how you use the watch pressure tester. Thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful for you, and see you later.